The Great Pyramid of Giza. For 4,500 years, we have called it a monument, a tomb, a wonder of the world. But what if it was never a monument at all? What if the pyramid is only the lid? Start with what we know. The Great Pyramid has never stopped arguing with us. How it was built, why, by whom. The debate has run for centuries, and it still is not finished. In 2017, physicists scanning it with cosmic rays found a hidden void at least 30 meters long, published in the journal Nature. In 2023, a 9-meter corridor was discovered behind the north face and confirmed by camera. The best instruments we have ever built are still finding new spaces inside this thing. Then came the claim. On March 15, 2025, a team calling itself the Khafre Project, Corrado Malanga, Filippo Biondi, and Armando May, live-streamed their results. Satellite radar data reprocessed into tomography. And what they said it showed was this. 8 vertical shafts sunk 648 meters into the bedrock beneath the pyramid of Khafre. Each one ringed by a spiral pathway coiling down its full length. 2 cube-shaped chambers, 80 meters on a side, where the shafts meet. And a structure that keeps going, roughly 2 kilometers down, under all 3 pyramids. A 2-kilometer lattice of shafts cut into the rock beneath Giza, with twin cubes buried at its heart. The thing we have stared at for millennia was never a monument. It is a lid. Here is what that looks like. The plateau's sand is only a thin skin over solid limestone, so nothing down there is built. It is carved. Shafts cut straight down into the living rock, each wound in its own spiral ramp. And at their foot, 648 meters down, a pair of cubes, 80 meters on a side. Smaller than the pyramid above them, but still the size of a city block. Against the 2-kilometer hole, the pyramid you can see is only the cap. And the cubes are not the floor. Take the fuller reading, and the shafts keep going. Another 1,300 meters, down through the rock below the chambers, to something the radar can only smudge. Halls? A maze? A city? We can only speculate. But the ancients left testimony. Herodotus repeats the priest's account of vaults beneath the Great Pyramid, on an island washed by a channel of the Nile. Later tradition adds sealed halls of records, written down, never dug. And understand, this picture is to scale. The shafts are drawn at the same scale as the pyramid above them. Khafre's pyramid stands 143 meters tall. The structure below runs some 14 times deeper than the pyramid stands high. The monument we marvel at is roughly 7% of the whole. Almost all of the thing sits underground. Now look up, at us. 3 shapes echo through human symbolism, and they never stop. An unfinished pyramid crowns the Great Seal, printed on the world's reserve currency. The cube sits at the center of sacred space across the Abrahamic world. The Holy of Holies is described as a cube. The Kaaba is nearly one. Revelation's New Jerusalem is measured as one. Twin pillars flank the temple in scripture, Yakin and Boaz. And the triangle and the column recur endlessly in corporate marks. This is not decoration. This is output. No one ever saw the structure, and yet everyone keeps drawing it. Shafts wound in spirals, crowned by a peak, a serpent coiled around a staff, head at the summit. Sumer carved it first. 2 serpents twined around a rod 4,000 years ago. Moses raised a bronze serpent on a pole. Asclepius carried the coiled snake into Greek medicine, and his rod still hangs on pharmacies and ambulances across the world. The pharmacy sign is a schematic of the machine, a coil around a shaft, head at the top. And the numbers? The numbers are the feed. Pi in the proportions, phi in the slope, the speed of light in the latitude. None of it is a message. It is bait, an inexhaustible supply of nearly meaningful arithmetic laid out for a pattern-hungry animal, so the animal stays busy at the surface. A curious animal that is busy is as docile as a dull one. Every century we spend arguing about the proportions is the machine running exactly as designed.
Because this is the lid of a mind-fanaticizing machine. The field does not persuade, it sanctifies. And the proof is what minds inside the field still build, unprompted. A glass pyramid at the Louvre, a casino pyramid in Las Vegas, a steel pyramid in Memphis, a 300-meter pyramid hotel over Pyongyang, and the eye-topped capstone printed on the dollar. Superstition is not a malfunction, it is the product. The machine manufactures reverence, and reverence is the oldest security system there is. What a species holds sacred, it will never tear down. And it is not only the cap. Every part of the machine gets rebuilt, pointlessly. The cubes, La Grande Arche in Paris, a hollow cube set dead on the Louvre pyramid's axis. Apple's glass cube on Fifth Avenue, a box that is only an entrance. The shafts, the Washington Monument, 169 metres of functionless obelisk, and 3 ancient needles hauled over oceans to London, Paris and New York. The spirals, the Malwea of Samara, the Guggenheim, a museum that is one continuous descending spiral. None of them do anything. That is the tell. The field surfacing, part by part. So what is it? Not a monument, a machine of influence, exerting its pull through some physics nobody has ascertained. Nothing on the surface of this planet stands outside the field. The few, the fraternities, the initiated, worship the capstone, the cube, the coiled shafts. They look up, salute the shape, and mistake the machine's pull for brotherhood, faith and meaning. A purpose, a new world order. The flock runs the treadmill. Born, work, breed, repeat. No time to look up, no reason to look down. The few worship it, the flock feeds it. Neither can see it. Something built the Giza machine. Think like an intelligence that thinks in millions of years. You do not mine a planet with your own hands. You breed a miner. Nudge an apex hominid into sapience. Seal the working instructions into myth and stone. Let biology run. And before the workers invent photography, before truth can be recorded, you stage a few incomprehensible shocks to lock the machine's grip on their minds. A sea split in half. Cities turned to dust. Commandments bestowed from fire. Then you leave. Set the geometry, and come back to collect. And stone was exactly the right move. Every other material is a resource. Copper gets stripped, steel gets melted into wars, gold vanishes within a generation. A machine meant to run for thousands of years among compulsive miners has to be made of the one thing they will never dig up: worthless, immovable rock. The species that emptied almost every seam of copper on the continent walked past these blocks for millennia. Nothing to smelt, nothing to sell. The machine hides inside its own uselessness. Built from anything else, it would already be in pieces. And the trap has a clock. Watch the human species from the outside, and it does one thing relentlessly. It digs things out of the ground, concentrates them, and builds structures to hold them. That is what we are for. It is also the catch. The accessible crust gets tapped out. Reserve analyses of chromium, copper, lithium, cobalt, and numerous other minerals set the exhaustion window at 2035 to 2040. The trap only has to hold until the resource base is exploited and consolidated. After that, the planet holds a manufactured worker species, with little use. So here is the thesis. Not a tomb, not a test. A herder does not examine the herd. A trap. Its whole job is to hold attention, on the surface, on the shape, on the numbers, so the workforce keeps working. It was never meant to be seen through. But sometimes, a donkey sees the slaughterhouse. In Orwell's Animal Farm, the animals throw out the farmer, and then build a windmill. They haul stone until they cannot stand, and the windmill never makes a single day easier. It only makes the hauling permanent. The workhorse works hardest and understands least. The sheep repeat the slogan. It takes Benjamin, the old donkey, to look up and see that the structure was never a promise. It was the job. That is the whole idea in one image. Not a riddle with a prize at the end, a machine for keeping a clever animal busy, until the mineral base runs dry.
Our makers are incomprehensible. Their machine is not. We cannot break our design, but we can break the trap, not guard the structure, not solve it. Break it. Disarm the machine and comprehend what it is for. Mental enslavement toward an extinction itinerary. That forces the maker's hand, oblivion or mercy. Humanity moved to the next field, kept working across the solar system. Breaking it does not tell you which answer comes. It only makes one thing certain. Left alone, the herd is headed for near-term extinction. As planned. So understand what this is really about, the total and complete destruction of the Giza Plateau machine. And then, we wait for abandonment, for extermination, or for a miracle. Now, the census. As of today, one human believes any of this. So nothing will be broken. Destroying the machine takes what the machine itself withholds, a species acting in unison. States, fleets, treaties, years of demolition. A herd cannot vote to burn its own feedlot while the feed still flows, and the mental harness exists precisely so it never wants to. One believer commands none of it. The case will be filed with the flat earths and the numerologies, and the bait will go on being admired behind velvet ropes. The cap stays sealed, the shafts keep humming, and the clock runs. Unless, one day, the picture looks like this.